And here's the video review for the Thundercats 6-inch Panthro. This is the 6-inch version. I should have the 4-inch version on Thursday, so we can do a comparison then. And there's one of my issues with him right there. His ankles are very weak. He can stand up, but he does like to fall forward. I was going to point that out later in the review, but he took the initiative and showed that off for me. Yeah, if you don't have him just right, his ankle, he likes to fall forward a lot. I was going to show off, just to show the 6-inch. Here he is with the 4-inch Lion-O, just to show you how much bigger he is. And he's a little bigger than the 6-inch Lion-O. He's 6-inch scale. I think he's actually closer to 6.5, 7 inches. So they are bigger. And again, you can compare the posability. He's got some shoulder joints here that move forward and up and down, and elbow hinges, whereas you can already see Panthro's got like the full range of motion shoulder joints, plus a bicep swivel, plus double jointed elbows, a wrist swivel. He's got a joint here on like right under his right above his abs, right under his pecs, that doesn't really move. And there may be a fix for that. I'm not sure, but it doesn't really move. And he's also got the waist joint with the rubber belt. He's got some ball jointed hips, double jointed knees, a swivel down here, and then the ankles, which are weak, admittedly, as I've already pointed out. But you can see he's standing okay now. So they're not super problematic, but they are a little loose. And they do have a little bit more range of motion, partly because they don't have the little flaps on the front of the feet like Tigra and Lion-O do. So he does get a little bit more range of motion in his feet as well. And just to show that off, you can see he's got the full range of motion in the shoulders, the bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which is nice, and then a wrist swivel. Like I said, there's this joint here that moves a little bit, but I don't know why they didn't just make that all one piece. He does have a pretty decent range of motion in the abdomen, and I know there's a way to fix that. And then ball joint hips. Well, not really ball joint hips, but they're on the same. They can move in two different directions, so you can get a lot of range of motion out of them. Double jointed knees. He does have a swivel right here at his boot, as well as the aforementioned ankles. So you can get a lot of really cool stuff with him. You can kind of get him in a fighting pose. You can kind of get his fists up a little bit. Panthro's going to kick your butt. The nunchucks, I've seen somebody have the nunchucks like draped over his shoulders while he reaches up, and I'm not going to bother sticking them through his hands because it's kind of hard, but he has him holding his shoulders up over like this, which is nice. And again, he can hold his nunchucks. One of the things I like to do is, I'll go ahead and put him in his hand, is to stick the nunchucks in his hand. And it helps if you just slide the chain through first, and then slide the nunchuck itself up through his fists. His fists are really... He's got these big, thick fingers, and they're hard to move out of the way to get the nunchucks through his fist, but come on. There we go. I like to stick it and have him so he's got the nunchuck. Like you see some martial artists do, tuck it. He's got one in his hand and the other one tucked up under his shoulder. Stand up. Come on. I know your ankles don't like it, but... So I'll have to fix the ankles. One of my complaints about his head is that his head is on a ball joint, but the way they've molded his neck and hair, he can't look up or down. He can move like that much. He can move side to side. And again, there's a fix for that too. You can cut away some of the neck plastic and let his head move up and down. And he does come with a second pair of nunchucks, which is not usable. It's just supposed to be the collapsed and folded together nunchucks. And there's a little post that you can peg onto the back of his belt here, so he can store the nunchucks on his back when he's not actually using them. And if you want to just leave them on there, you can fold them up so they're not visible from the front. So it looks like he's got his nunchucks out and not stored on his back when you're really doing both. So yeah, I like the posability of him a lot better. I wish the ankles were a little tighter. I wish there were a little bit more range of motion here in the chest and abdomen, and I certainly wish there were a little bit more, at least a little bit more up and down motion up for his head on the neck joint. But I definitely see he's definitely a lot more posable than the 4-inch figures I currently have, and I can see why. Well, Mum-Ra's pretty much got the same range of articulation. He doesn't have the double jointed elbows though, but other than that, but yeah, posability wise, size wise, he's definitely bigger, a little bit more maneuverable than the 4-inch figures I've seen so far. I'll compare him to the 4-inch Panthro when I get him. You can see the differences between the two. I saw Lion-O in the store today. The 6-inch Lion-O. I didn't buy him because he's on the way. He'll be here tomorrow from Amazon. So So we'll have that review tomorrow. And I'm not sure. I'm going to have to wait until I get him out and play with him, because I think just looking at him, I may even like the 4-inch one a little better. And I know that some people are going to call that blasphemous. Don't you fall for me saying that. But I honestly do. I think right now, just initial impression from looking at the package for like a minute, I think I might end up enjoying the 4-inch one a little better. But that's just, like Mythbusters, that could end up being Myth-busted. I don't know. I'll have to wait until he actually shows up tomorrow. I do like Panthro here in 6-inch, and we'll wait and see how his 4-inch figure compares when he comes in. But all in all, the 6-inch line is off to a really good start. He is a nice figure aside from these wing ankles. Is really my biggest issue is just the fact that he doesn't like to stand without just falling forward. And that's fixable, but still a little annoying. But there you have it, Thundercats 6-inch Panthro with the magic background. I'm going to start incorporating that into all my reviews. How does he stand up to the magic background? Whoa! Okay, we bumped the camera a little bit, but anyway, the end.